Imagine this. You're lying awake at 2:43 a.m., the ceiling fan slicing the silence above your bed in slow, monotonous revolutions. You're not in pain, you're not in danger, but something deep within you feels off, like you've been walking through life wrapped in gauze. Every sound slightly muffled, every color a shade dimmer, every touch just a bit numb. You go to work, you smile at the barista, you check your messages, you do what you're supposed to do. But inside you wonder, is this it? Now imagine someone walks into your room at that exact moment, looks you dead in the eyes and asks, "Are you living or merely existing?" It hits you like a whisper you've been trying to avoid for years. You remember childhood dreams that burned like stars. You remember wanting to change the world, to taste wonder, to make love count. But somewhere along the way, something shifted. You got tired, number efficient. And now here you are, breathing, yes. Functioning, yes. But alive? Here's the paradox. We live in an era of unprecedented convenience, comfort, and connection. Yet millions wake up each day with an aching emptiness that not even the brightest screens or fullest calendars can soothe. Why? What if the deepest tragedy of the human condition isn't death, but distraction? What if the enemy of a full life isn't hardship, but habit? What if you can spend decades alive without ever truly living? These aren't just poetic questions. They're confrontations, and behind them lies a hidden force far more ancient and far more dangerous than we think. Let's look deeper. This quiet crisis of existence, this drifting through life without ever anchoring to something real, didn't begin with smartphones or deadlines. It began long before that, in the deepest recesses of the human soul, where questions of meaning, purpose, and identity collide in deafening silence. Augustine of Hippo once wrote, "You have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you." That restlessness, it's not random. It's not weakness, it's built in. A divine discontent meant to drive us beyond survival and into something sacred. But instead of heeding it, we numb it. Psychologist Tournier observed that modern man suffers not from a lack of means, but from a lack of meaning. Kierkegaard called it the sickness unto death, the despair of not even knowing you're in despair. Blaise Pascal pointed to the endless diversions we invent to avoid the horror of sitting quietly in a room alone. Why? Because that silence echoes with eternal questions we've been trained to suppress. We're conditioned to conflate busyness with purpose, efficiency with significance. But the human soul wasn't made to be optimized. It was made to be awakened. And it's not just psychological, it's philosophical. G.K. Chesterton once said, "Meaninglessness does not come from being weary of pain. Meaninglessness comes from being weary of pleasure." We've gorged ourselves on dopamine and digital illusions, and we're still hungry. Beneath it all is a dangerous lie, that life is what happens on the outside, and that the inside, your soul, is secondary. That lie has seeped into our psychology, our culture, our theology. But what if that's not just wrong? What if that's the trap? Now let's trace the shape of the prison we've unknowingly built around ourselves. You may not see the bars, you may not hear the locks, but you can feel the cage. This isn't a prison of walls, it's a prison of perception, a slow, silent erosion of the soul through the ordinary. You wake up, you scroll, you work, you eat, you sleep. Repeat. And all the while, something sacred is slipping through your fingers. Awareness, intention, wonder. Neurologically, your brain is designed to seek patterns, to automate. That's how you learn to drive, tie your shoes, solve equations. But left unchecked, this same automation starts to script your life. You stop noticing beauty, stop asking questions, stop wondering why you're here. Your soul atrophies not from trauma, but from tameness. Cognitive biases reinforce the trap. Status quo bias tells you not to change. Confirmation bias tells you you're fine. Hedonic adaptation ensures that even the things you once longed for now feel bland and routine. You become a consumer of moments instead of a creator of meaning. And culturally, The messages are relentless. Stay comfortable, stay distracted, chase pleasure, numb pain, avoid reflection. Don't ask why, it'll only slow you down. But do you feel the ache rising, that low-frequency hum beneath your days? That's your soul remembering what it was made for, and it's trying to warn you, because this isn't just about feeling bored, it's about forgetting who you are. It's about the slow death of identity beneath the surface of an efficient life. You were made for more than this cycle, and until you see what's been quietly stealing your fire, you'll keep calling survival success. But what if you could break the script? Let's talk rebellion. Rebellion doesn't always look like raised fists and marching feet. Sometimes it looks like silence, stillness, a single soul whispering, "No more," to the machinery of a numbed existence. This is your invitation. The most radical thing you can do in a world addicted to motion is to stop. To be still long enough to hear the voice you've drowned in noise. That voice isn't your algorithm. It's not your inbox. It's not your fears. It's the echo of eternity calling you to wake up. Anselm of Canterbury spoke of faith-seeking understanding. Not blind obedience, but a reasoned journey into the heart of reality. That's what rebellion looks like. Not walking away from life, but pressing deeper into it, choosing depth over distraction, choosing soul over schedule. C.S. Lewis said, "We are far too easily pleased, like children making mud pies in the slums because we've forgotten the offer of a holiday at sea." The rebellion begins when you start hungering for more, for what is truly real. And yes, it will feel like swimming upstream. You will be misunderstood. The world will call you impractical, but you weren't made to fit in. You were made to awaken. Rebel by asking dangerous questions. What if your identity isn't earned, but bestowed? What if your worth isn't proven by your output, but grounded in love? What if real life begins where performance ends? It's time to recover what the world has stolen. Your curiosity, your calling, your soul's fire. And you don't need to have it all figured out to begin. You just need the courage to step off the treadmill. Because once you taste life beyond mere existence, you'll never go back. But what is that life really? What is the ultimate truth we're all aching to remember? Let's go there now. Here it is. The truth that burns at the center of your longing. You were never meant to be the source of your own life. You were designed to receive life, not manufacture it. To draw breath not just from air, but from the spirit of the one who made you. The ache you feel? The sense that something essential is missing? It's not a glitch, it's a signal. The Christian worldview doesn't offer cheap comfort, it offers collision. A collision with the truth that you are not your own. You were crafted intricately and intentionally in the image of a God who is life itself. Not a distant deity, but the Logos, the Word made flesh, Jesus Christ, who steps into your numb routines and whispers, "I came that you may have life and have it abundantly." John 10:10. Not efficient life, not productive life, abundant life. A life that doesn't begin when the stars align or when you finally feel ready, but one that begins when you surrender your illusion of control. G.K. Chesterton called Christianity the answer to a riddle we barely know we're asking. The cross is that answer, because it reveals the paradox we've been circling this whole time. That life begins with death. The death of self-sufficiency, of pride, of false identities. Only when you lay down your right to define your own worth, do you discover the worth God already placed in you. This is not a self-help journey. This is resurrection. So the final question is not how do I live more fully? It is who holds the source of life itself? And when you know the answer to that, really know it, then even your most ordinary moments begin to shimmer with eternity. Thank you for reflecting with me today. If this video meant something to you, consider liking and subscribing. And until next time, stay curious.